Hi,
Hello,
what's your name and where are you from?
my name is Nicolas and I'm from Chile.
Okay, Nicolas. I have some questions for you. The first one, what have you learned on this course about teaching and why is that relevant to you?
Well, lots of things, but definitely the most important ones have to do with, um, I think, feedback, not only for my peer teachers, but also for my students. And the other one that has been really, really important is the time that I speak and how my presence can affect students, how my being present or not in the class can affect students. That has been like being aware of that has been one of the most incredible aspects of this course that I have learned about and I have discovered.
Okay. Nicolas, what are a few important things that you have learned about teaching English on this course and why are they important to you?
I have learned that teaching English and teaching another language requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of I don't know, a lot of love. You are teaching something and you're facilitating some knowledge that is new for your students, for the learners, and they need to feel that you care about them and they need to feel safe. They need to feel that you care about it, that you're gonna be there for them, and then, as I was telling you, they need to feel that you are present in the classroom. I think that's one of the most important things I have learned as a teacher and as a teacher of English. Maybe I don't always have all the answers, but I know that I can be there for my students when they need it.
Okay. Would you please describe a moment from your teaching that has impacted and has you thinking about how you could better serve learning? What happened?
Okay, yes. I was thinking about this particular moment that happened to me last week. I was teaching a listening class, and this listening class was about fruit and also herbs that can be used as medicine because my students are from a rural area. So we were discussing that. We used the PDP framework for this listening. Um, they were really, really, really great. They followed the instructions very well. They answered my questions. So until that moment, I felt that the activity was going well because they were not too shy. They were sharing, and I saw that they were engaged in the activities in general. And then when it was the time for the fluency part, like the part where you relate your own experiences with the topic, um, I noticed that after I asked the question, I gave them a little bit of time to think about it, and I gave them a little bit of time to share their answer with their partners first. And they did so. They thought a little bit about it. They when they had an idea after a couple of seconds, they shared their answers with a partner. And what I noticed later is that everybody could give an answer and everybody contributed with something to the conversation. I noticed that the time that I gave them to think and to share was fundamental. I think that I chose this moment of one of my classes because in the past I used to be not as patient and I used to ask questions directly to them and not wait for them to think about it or brainstorm some ideas. So what ended up happening is that not everybody participated and some of them were really, I don't know, maybe they didn't have like a full idea to share. So maybe they were a little bit more in silence. What I noticed now in this moment was that giving them that time to brainstorm, to gather their experiences, to see how they could relate to the topic was crucial for them to really speak and really share something personal. So that was very nice. And something that might have hindered that moment is that perhaps they didn't have a lot of time. Of course, I gave them some time. I couldn't give them as much time as I wanted to because I had to rush a little bit. So time management is another situation, and it's one issue that can lead to these, like rushings, and you have to do some things a little bit fast. But anyway, I think that giving them those moments to reflect and just remember was incredibly helpful. And what I noticed is that students have something to say. I used to think that sometimes students didn't want to talk or just didn't have an answer, but I think I have realized that if you give them a space to think and to share, they can, if they don't have an experience immediately, when they hear another person's experience, they remember a little bit more, or the possibility that they remember is higher. So the students really need a couple of, I don't know, seconds or minutes. They need some time alone first, and then in community for them to answer and share about any experience.
Okay. Would you consider that one of your generalizations based on this experience you had?
Definitely, definitely. I think that time to think, that's very important.
Okay,
Something
thank-
that I didn't do in the past, and something that in this course I have discovered, and now I appreciate much more.
Okay. Any other generalization that you might want to share?
Mm, well, what I said in the introduction was also one of my generalizations, to be present.
Hmm.
Perhaps I didn't notice that they needed time because I was not present. I was more focused on the order of the activities, on the timing, on getting like an answer fast. And what I noticed is that they just needed a little bit and some moments to think. And when I noticed that, I did it, and I felt present. I felt that I was facilitating a way to meet their needs.
Okay. Based on this understanding you now have, what might you do if you're faced with these kind of moments in the future?
For me, it's really, really clear. I mean, every question needs a little bit of time of reflection, and I think that it's so. I feel now that it's so basic. Like, even when people ask me something in Spanish, I really need some time to gather my thoughts. For me, that's so. Now that I think about it and I reflect about it, that's so. It's such a basic need. And I feel that I'm going to continue doing so. I'm going to continue letting my students share first, gather some information, and then see if they want to participate in a class conversation.
Okay. So, in conclusion, what have you learned about yourself as a teacher in this course so far? What has changed, deepened, appear, disappear in your teaching self?
Well, the concept of community has really, 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 I don't know, it's now much stronger than before. And this is all related to what I was just saying. I think that feedback from me to my students, from my students to me, or even peer feedback with other teachers, I think it's crucial. It's so, so, so important. To let students talk in groups before they share in a class, that's also building a community, and that's also learning from other people. So the concept of community is something that has appeared and really deepened in me very, very strongly. And something that has changed is that I don't have to be the center of the attention all the time. It was not always, but I used to be a little bit more like that. Now I feel that my students are the protagonists of my classes. With a little bit of my help, I facilitate a little bit, but they are the ones, the protagonists, because they are the ones learning. I'm just there to facilitate that learning and help them.
Okay. Any closing thoughts or comments?
This course has really been an eye-opening experience because I feel that the workshops are great, but I feel that they lead you to have experiences to draw your own conclusions, and I haven't felt like a big pressure. I just feel that I have had the chance and the space to reflect and to see myself and to look at myself like at a mirror and in a mirror, and I don't know, really, not that somebody is telling me all the time what is good and what is bad, but I can do so by myself. And that has been a really great experience to analyze, to reflect, and to be critical with myself. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.